UFC Vegas 107 back at the Apex for Aaron Blanchfield versus Macy Barber. I'm going to be breaking down this entire fight card, giving you guys my picks and predictions. Honestly, it's probably one of the worst fight cards that I've seen in this year so far. But, the fight cards where we think they're going to be bad, they ended up being bangers. So I think there are some fun fights on here, but it's just such a 50-50 coin flip ass type of card. Like, I could see a lot of underdogs coming through, and I could see the favorites getting the decisions as well. So without further ado, we are going to be jumping right into it. First fight of the night is in the women's strawweight division. We got Riani Dos Santos, 14-8 in her professional career, taking on Alice Ardeline, 9-7 in her professional career. Now, Riani Dos Santos, she's a patient striker, not a ton of volume, and for the most part, like, her stand up is somewhat okay. And like I said, she's patient, but she's taking on Alice Ardeline, who comes in, she brings fire, she brings chaos. Like, the girl's tough as nails, she can bang, and she's thicker for the weight class. So I can see her out positioning Riani Dos Santos at times, and getting a nice hip toss, because she likes to get that hip toss from the clinch anytime she gets clinched up by these women. And I just feel like a Riani Dos Santos is going to be a slightly smaller than her. I mean, when you see Alice Ardeline in the ring come Saturday, you're gonna know what I'm talking about. I don't know how the fuck she makes 115, honestly. Like, she probably got 115 pounds in her fucking legs and ass all together. Like I said, she's thick for the weight class. So yeah, it's a tough fight to call. I mean, Rihanna Dos Santos, she's the favorite, but like I said, she's a patient striker. She picks her shots nice. They kind of get a little wild. They kind of get looping. And Alice Ardeline, she is a flurry of a combination. 1-2 straight down the middle, back to back type deal. So she does bring pressure. This is the thing. Both of these women, they have pressure on their side. Alice Ardeline is going to have pressure and volume. And I think she's going to have a slight grappling advantage as well. They both have terrible records right now, so this is a tough fight to actually call. But if I had to make a pick on this fight, I would lean. I honestly would lean towards the side of Alice Ardeline, just for the simple fact that when she's in a clinch, she can, score takedowns. When you lock up with her, she'll hip toss you. It's not a confident pick at all, because I could see Riani Dos Santos being cleaner in the striking and winning a decision that way. The best bet is for this fight to go over 2.5 rounds, to be honest. So 2.5 rounds is a pick. On to the next one. The next fight on the card, we got Michael Aswell taking on Balaji Oki in the lightweight division. Michael Aswell, 9-2 in his professional career. Balaji Oki, 9-2 in his professional career as well. Michael Aswell, he just came off that, what was it? He fought Bogdan Grad on the Contender Series. Yeah, he fought Bogdan Grad on the Contender Series, and that was a good back and forth war. They both were going at it. Michael Aswell looked really good in that fight, and I actually thought that he could have won that fight, to be honest. But I'm not gonna say it was a robbery or anything, because it was a close ass fight. Both fighters had pretty good moments throughout the entire duration of the fight. So that was a good, first outing for me, seeing what Michael Aswell can do. So he's taking on Balaji Oki. Balaji Oki is a powerful striker. He likes to rip to the body. He's got decent kickboxing. I believe Michael Aswell is going to have the volume on his side, but Balaji Oki is just going to have that power on his side. So I could see Balaji Oki getting it done here. Like I said, both these fighters are 9-2. Balaji Oki, he's not easy outing for anybody. The only two losses that he has, I mean, one of them came to Chris Duncan, where he was beating Chris Duncan in that fight. And Chris Duncan, he exposed Balaji Oki's fucking head when Balaji Oki tried to go in for a takedown, and sunk in a guillotine and submitted him that way. And I mean that ages pretty well too, seeing the state of where Chris Duncan's at. You know, he's actually on a decent run right now. And Michael Aswell, he's making his official UFC debut. So I'm not really into taking official debuts anymore. So I'm just pick Balaji Oki on this one. On to the next fight. The next fight is in the men's lightweight division. We got Kurt Holloway taking on Jordan Levitt. Now, Kurt Holloway, you know, I'm keen of Kurt Holloway. Kurt Holloway a dog. Kurt Holloway can throw down. His only problem is he can't defend fucking takedowns to save his life. Like that fight that he had with Alexander Hernandez. What was it? That was his last fight in March. You know, he was easily beating Alexander Hernandez on the feet, but he couldn't defend any takedowns, and Alexander Hernandez just racked up control time because Kurt Holloway was like stuck on his back. Now he's taking on Jordan Levitt. Jordan Levitt, 11-3 in his professional career. Kurt Holloway, 22-9 in his professional career. Jordan Levitt's like only lost to really good competition since he's debuted into the UFC. I mean, losing to Chase Hooper, that's not, you know, anything to hang your head over, because Chase Hooper, look at the run Chase Hooper's on. Lost to Paddy Pimblett, had good moments in that fight. Was really, you know, he was out, I'm not going to say just flat out grappling, but he showed a lot of grappling skills when he went against Paddy Pimblett. And yeah, I just think that Kurt Holloway is going to be better on the feet. Yeah, I get that. But, you know, when you can't defend takedowns to save your life anymore, that's just, you know, it's a problem for me. I don't like it. You know, I picked Kurt Holloway to win that fight against Alexander Hernandez, and I still think he won that fight, but I'm not going to ignore the fact that Alexander Hernandez had like 6 takedowns and a shit ton of control time, whether he was doing big damage with it or not, you know, which he really wasn't. But he ended up, you know, losing that fight to him because he couldn't stuff the takedowns. And now you're taking on somebody whose key is wrestling. So I'm going to go with Jordan Levitt. The next fight on the card is a catch weight, short notice fight for Trevin Giles, but he will be taking on Andreas Gustafsson. Trevin Giles, 16-7 in his professional career. Andreas Gustafsson, 11-2 in his professional career. Trevin Giles on a 3-fight losing streak at the moment. He's got, I mean, his losses are to, you know, really good people, and his wins are to, you know, I mean, he beat Roman Dolidze once upon a time, but that was a Roman Dolidze who had no type of cardio whatsoever back in like 2022 or 2021. Other than that, he lost to Gabriel Bonfim. Gabriel Bonfim, we just seen him take a fat L not too long ago. Lost to Carlos Prates. Lost to Mike Malott. I mean, in these fights that he's losing, like, you know, he went the decision with Mike Malott, but he got finished by Prates and by Bonfim. Got finished by Michael Morales. Like, Trevin Giles, like, he's good defensively. Like, he's good defensively until he's not. He can box, but once you land a power shot on him, then that's when it's all like downhill from there. And, you know, Andreas Gustafsson, he's coming off that Contender Series win where, you know, he faced Pat Pitlick and, you know, kneed the fuck out of Pat Pitlick and, you know, ended up picking up the victory that way. Fight before that, knocked out a guy named Dominic Schrober by, you know, TKO, punched his ass up. Beat another guy, TKO'd him too, following, you know, it was TKO via ground and pound. And I just believe with his pressure style, like if he comes in like the way he did on the Contender Series, not taking no for an answer, every time you're throwing something, he's marching you down, pinning you against the cage. I can see him wearing on Trevin Giles, just as Trevin Giles fighting the UFC where he's coming in on short notice again. And his short notice fights have not been good for him whatsoever. So I'm going to pick the fighter who has less, you know, wear and tear on the body. Even though Gustafsson's, you know, 2 years older than Giles. Giles been in the UFC for a while. He's taking some hard shots. And honestly, at this point in his career, we can just say that his chin is questionable. You know, he goes by the nickname The Problem, and honestly, his chin might just be the problem here. He's taking on Andreas Gustafsson, whose nickname is Bane. I'm gonna go with Bane on this one. I think the pressure gets to him, and I believe with just his technique of clinch work, elbows and knees when he sees good opportunities, I believe he could put Trevor Giles away. So Andreas Gustafsson is the pick. The next fight on the card is in the men's flyweight division. We got Rafael Filho taking on Alan Nascimento. Now, Rafael Filho or Jafel Filho is 16-3 in his professional career. Alan Nascimento is 20-6 in his professional career. The more active of the two is Rafael Filho. The last fight that Alan Nascimento had was almost 2.5 years ago. And that was his third fight in the UFC, coming off the Contender Series. So he's 2-1 in the UFC. And Rafael Filho is 2-1 in the UFC as well. Yeah, both these fighters are really good grapplers. Nascimento probably will have the edge and strength, but Rafael Filho, he's no bum. He scraps, man. Like the dude, there's no quit in him. You know, I mean, he has been submitted twice. 2 of those losses come by submission, and 1 comes by unanimous decision. Alan Nascimento has 6 losses, so I mean, the only loss that he really has is the Contender Series loss and the loss to Tagir Ulanbekov. Tagir Ulanbekov is really good. Both these fighters are good on the ground. I'm just going to cut this shit short and simple. This is one of those 50-50 coin flips ones that I'm talking about. They're both really good on the ground. I say Rafael Filho has a slight edge in striking. I say Alan Nascimento has a slight edge in physicality and probably slight edge in grappling strength. Rafael Filho's good as fuck though. So, like I said, coin flip ass fucking fight. The majority people are on Nascimento. He is the slight favorite. And, you know, there's a good underdog case in Rafael Filho. I say this fight, if I had to pick a winner, I would honestly probably side with the side of Alan Nascimento. I mean, his grappling strength looked like it may be a smidge better than Rafael Filho, and he may be able to squeeze out a rear naked choke. Those are Rafael Filho's 2 losses. The 2 submission losses on his record were by rear naked choke. But Rafael Filho's good, man. He damn near broke Muhammad Mokaev. Damn near broke his leg. You know, Muhammad Mokaev was just tough. Leg was popping and breaking, and he literally just didn't tap and ended up submitting Rafael Filho by a rear naked choke in like the 3rd round. So I see this fight. Honestly, I see this fight going the distance. I see it going the distance. I mean, Alan Nascimento, I don't believe he's going to have Muhammad Mokaev type strength. But I do believe that he can possibly get it done. On to the next fight. The next fight we have on the card is in the men's middleweight division. We got Zachary Reese taking on Dusko Todorovic. This one, I'm just going to make it short and sweet. Zachary's 8-2 in his professional career. Dusko Todorovic 12-5 in his professional career. I'm just going to pick the one, you know, who I see win more, and that's Zach Reese. Dusko Todorovic on a two fight skid right now. Zachary Reese also he's on a 1 fight skid. Both these fighters knocked out their last outing. At least Zachary Reese before that was on a 2 fight win streak. Got powerbomb slam by Cody Brundage. Cody Brundage knocked him out with that powerbomb slam. Azmat Bekoev beat the shit out of Zach Reese. I mean, had Zach Reese looking like a dead body out there. I mean, we picked Azmat Bekoev in that fight, and he delivered the way that I knew that he would. And yeah, I didn't think it was going to be that quick. But anyway, Dusko Todorovic coming off that loss to Mansour Abdul Malik. Dusko Todorovic actually had some success early on in that fight, to be honest with you. He had Mansour rocked for a second, and then Mansour just came back and, you know, I believe it was the 2nd round. Just completely cleaned his clock, knocked him the fuck out. Then he lost to Christian Leroy Duncan the fight before that. Beats Jordan Wright. Loses to Chidi Njokuani via elbows. Yeah, I mean, the pick for me, like I said, is going to be Zach Reese. I think Zach Reese can deliver a harder punch than Dusko Todorovic. Dusko Todorovic, he's really there to be hit. Zach Reese's only losses has come from him laying on his back, doing dumb shit like getting picked up and slammed by fucking Cody Brundage, and just laying on your back. And then you got a big, powerful Russian striker in Azamat Bakoyev raining fucking hammer fist of fucking doom on you. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and pick Zach Reese. I believe he better have learned from his mistakes. If you let Dusko Todorovic get on top, if you let anybody else get on top of you at this point in your career without you racking up a decent win streak like we expect you to, I'm going to look at you a certain type of way. So, Zachary Reese is the pick. Dusko Todorovic is honestly just not that fucking good. Not a good striker either. And I think Zachary Reese can capitalize on that lack of head movement. On to the next fight. The next fight we have on the card is in the women's bantamweight division. We got Ketlin Vieira taking on Macy Chiasson. Ketlin Vieira, 14-4 in her professional career. Macy Chiasson, 10-3 in her professional career. Macy Chiasson on a 2-fight winning streak. Ketlin Vieira currently on that 1-fight skid where she, pretty much fought Kayla Harris for a number 1 contender spot, ended up losing. Fight before that fought Penny Kianzad, beat her by unanimous decision. Fight before that lost to Raquel Pennington by split decision. Fight before that beat Holly Holm, and then the fight before that beat Miesha Tate. Those fights were all over 3 years ago. So, in the last 3 years, she's only won 1 fight. So that's not really too good of a look, to be honest with you. Anyway, Macy Chiasson, not too much better. The last 3 years, she's won 3 fights, so a little bit better. But she was gifted a win over Mayra Bueno Silva. I'm not going to say gifted a win because it was a close fight, but Macy Chiasson landed an elbow, completely, opened up Mayra Bueno Silva's forehead like it was nothing, and the doctor stepped in and stopped the fight. I mean, she's got sharp elbows. Anyway, the fight before that beat Piani Kianzad by unanimous or by submission. So she finished Kianzad, and Ketlin Vieira went to the decision with her. I mean, we ain't gonna play MMA math here, but when I see shit like that, I kind of be like, Anyway, the fight before that lost to Irina Aldana via fucking up kick. I remember that. That was a up kick to the liver. Irina Aldana was laying on her back. Macy Chiasson was, above her in the guard. She fucking just flings a heel, hits her right in her fucking stomach, and Macy Chiasson just couldn't go on, fell down, and anyway, lost that fight to Irina Aldana. Was looking pretty decent in that fight, though. Fight before that, she did beat Norma Dump Truck Dumont. That's my girl right there, Norma Dumont. So that's a pretty good win at age as well. Seeing the status of where Dumont's career is at right now and the trajectory she's in, she's arguably on the cusp of getting a title shot pretty soon. So good for her. So yeah, that's a good win by Chiasson. A good win by her. So honestly, I'm not gonna draw this shit out any fucking longer. I think Macy Chiasson just has more ways to win. Ketlin Vieira, she's okay, but if you watch that Kayla Harris fight, I mean, she really didn't have anything of an answer for Kayla Harris when she was taken down. Macy Chiasson is no Kayla Harris. She is no grappling phenom, but she's just more active. She works a little more. When they first made this fight, my gut feeling told me Ketlin Vieira, but I mean, that was just a Ketlin Vieira where I was, kind of deluded into believing that she was bigger than what she really is, because she did fight for that number 1 contender series fucking fight after going on a 1-fight win streak. It is what it is, man. The pick is Macy Chiasson. On to the next one. The next fight on the card is in the light heavyweight division. We got Dustin Jacoby taking on Bruno Lopez. Dustin Jacoby 20-9 in his professional career. Bruno Lopez 14-1 in his professional career. Where he pretty much he got caught by Brennison Hibero on the Contender Series. Ended up getting knocked out in that fight. Dustin Jacoby, I mean, is Dustin Jacoby. Dustin Jacoby is a very good kickboxer. Was ranked number 2 in Glory. It's a big kickboxing promotion. So he had a lot of good shit going for him in Glory and whatnot. When he got into the UFC, he actually he was on a fucking tear when he first came into the UFC, if I can remember correctly. Let me see. Go back here. Check it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He was on a 7-fight win streak in the UFC. Fought Khalil Roundtree, lost to Khalil Roundtree by split decision, so it was a close fight. Fight after that loses to Azamat Murkazanov by unanimous decision. Beats Kennedy and Nzechukwu. Round 1 right cross to some ground strikes. So that's a pretty decent win, seeing that Kennedy and Nzechukwu, he went up to heavyweight and he's actually doing a really good fucking run and making waves in the heavyweight division right now. Coming off of that win over Kennedy and Nzechukwu, he lost to Alonzo Menifield. That's a loss that I don't like to specifically see because, it was 2 years ago, 2023 Alonzo Menifield, so I guess the 2023 Alonzo Menifield was more dangerous. But as of late, Alonzo Menifield has, kind of been looking like straight shit. So I'm going to just be honest. That's not too much of an impressive win at this day and age where we're at in the fucking sport right now. Fight after he loses to Alonzo Menifield, gets knocked out by Dominic Reyes. Dominic Reyes, that was his fight back into the UFC, I believe, after his little hiatus off. Yep, it was Dominic Reyes' first fight back in the UFC after a 2-year layoff. Goes out there and absolutely starches Dustin Jacoby. Anyway, yeah, after that, Dustin Jacoby ends up beating Vitor Petrino. Vitor Petrino's a fucking bum, fraud. I'm not gonna sit here and slander him. Dude's just not fucking good. So beats Vitor Petrino. Now he's taking on Bruno Lopez. Like I said, Bruno Lopez's only loss in his career comes to Henderson Hibero on the Contender Series where he got caught. Every other fight beyond that, he's pretty much doing what the fuck he's supposed to do. Wins by, submission. A lot of wins by submission. A lot of wins by knockout. And a few fucking decisions mixed in the pile. His last fight was against Magomed Ghaziazulov. Dude was 9-0. Ended up, getting scraped up by Bruno Lopez by unanimous decision. So, and Ghaziazulov was the heavy favorite going into that fight. Ghaziazulov lost people a lot of money that day. I know that for a fucking fact. But anyway, yeah, Bruno Lopez, he's well-rounded. He could strike with you, and he can take you down to the ground, too, if he needs to. He's not like a polished type of wrestler by any means, but he's well-rounded enough to get the fight to where it needs to be. In my opinion, I honestly, if this is a fight where if you're betting on Jacoby to win, you're banking on him just being able to pick Bruno Lopez apart the entire time on the feet and stuff, the takedowns. If you looking at Bruno Lopez to win, you looking at him to win by, being well-rounded, mixing in the strikes and the takedowns and garnering control time in that department. Another toss-up ass fight to me. I know they got Dustin Jacoby as a slight favorite, I believe. He's favorited in this fight. He's a slight favorite in this fight, but there's an argument that Bruno Lopez can get the job done now. So, I honestly, fuck Dustin Jacoby, Bruno Lopez. I would say the best bet is for this fight to not go the distance. I don't see Dustin Jacoby, winning a unanimous decision over Bruno Lopez. He can get it done though, but at the same time, Bruno Lopez, I believe he's just slightly more well-rounded, got more ways to win. So I don't think this fight goes the distance. That's gonna be the best bet for me. On to the next one. The next fight on the card, we have Billy Ray Goff taking on Ramiz Brahimaj in the welterweight division. Now, Billy Ray Goff, 9-3 in his professional career. Ramiz Brahimaj, 11-5 in his professional career. I'm about to get right to it. Billy Ray Goff should be 9 and he should be 10-2 in his professional career because he absolutely beat Trey Waters. His UFC, what was it? Was that his UFC debut? Nah, it was his second fight in the UFC. He absolutely beat Trey Waters. I mean, walked Trey Waters down. Trey Waters, it was a good back and forth while it lasted, but from what I seen that day, I remember clearly being like, oh, they robbed Billy Ray Goff. Billy Ray Goff got good pressure. He's got good boxing. He sets up his combinations good. He can enter good, mix it up with body shots, head shots, and he can occasionally lean towards the wrestling too. Before that fight, he was on a nice little tear, and I hate that happens sometimes. The fighters, they're on a tear and they lose a bullshit decision, and it was a unanimous decision at that, which is complete a fucking joke. I mean, I may have to watch that fight back in hindsight and see what the fuck happened, but what I remember and what a lot of the community remembers was Trey Waters lost that fight. But anyway, Trey Waters is a really good opponent, by the way. He's just not as active as he should be. Anyway, he's taking on Ramiz Brahimaj. Ramiz Brahimaj, I mean, he got that knockout over Mickey Gall his last fight. Mickey Gall was having some success up until that. The fight before that, loses a unanimous decision to Timba Garimbo. Just had nothing for him in the overall game of martial arts, mixing it up with striking and wrestling. Fight before that, beats Michael Gilmore by submission. That's 3 years ago. So like a lot of these fights for Ramiz Brahimaj are like 3 years ago type shit, almost 4 years ago. So I mean, he's had it the last 2 years. He's had 2 fights. So I mean, that's okay. I give him that. Whatever. It is what it is. I wasn't impressed with his performance over Mickey Gall. I mean, yeah, you're supposed to go out there and knock Mickey Gall out, but he just wasn't impressive while doing it, in my opinion. Now he's taking on a dog in Billy Ray Goff. Billy Ray Goff is an absolute fucking dog. So that's going to be my pick. Billy Ray Goff got more dog in him, and I believe his boxing and his kickboxing, they're going to be better than Ramiz Brahimaj. Ramiz Brahimaj may have a slight advantage in the grappling department, but I think Billy Ray Goff is well-rounded enough to, stay out of danger if the fight goes to that area. So on to the next one. The next fight on the card is in the men's lightweight division. We got Mateusz Gamrot taking on Ludovic Klein. Mateusz Gamrot 24-3 in his professional career. Ludovic Klein 23-4 in his professional career. Mateusz Gamrot, what can we say about him, man? The dude's a dog. You feel me? Like, the dude is a pressure-heavy grappler, and his striking is not terrible whatsoever. His only 3 losses in the UFC come to Guram Kudus-Dulatse. Okay, that's aging terribly because Guram Kudus-Dulatse has been pretty shit lately. But that was a Guram Kudus-Dulatse that was actually on fire. Anyway, other than that, lost to Beneil Dariush and lost a split decision to Dan Hooker in his last fight. That was a really good close fight for Mateusz Gamrot. I thought that Gamrot did enough with the grappling that he mixed in to get that decision win over Dan Hooker. But at the same time, I told myself, if they give it to Dan Hooker, it's solely based on the damage that Dan Hooker was doing to him. Because Dan Hooker wobbled him. I believe he wobbled him maybe 1 or 2 times during that fight. That's the thing about Gamrot. You can wobble him, but he's going to resort to his grappling, and his grappling is top tier. And that's where he majorly wins the fight, is, just being the better grappler and, ground and pounding his way to submissions and shit like that. Now he's taking on Ludovic Klein. Ludovic Klein is pretty fucking good. He's got good stand-up. got good kickboxing. The only thing that you would question here is, will his takedown defense be enough to stop Mateusz Gamrot? I mean, me personally, I don't think it's going to be good enough to stop Mateusz Gamrot. Gamrot he's a big fucking 155-pound light heavyweight. Like, when you gonna see when they get in the cage, Gamrot is just probably gonna look slightly bigger than Ludwig Klein. Ludwig Klein is not small by any means. Don't get me wrong, but Gamrot has like an edge in physicality, and I believe that while Ludwig Klein does have good stand up, it is nothing that's gonna make you jump out. He ain't knocking out fucking Mateusz Gamrot. Let's just put it that way. I don't see him knocking Mateusz Gamrot out. I don't see him fucking hurting Mateusz Gamrot like Dan Hooker did. I mean, Ludwig Klein's last win was over Roosevelt Roberts, and Ludwig Klein was a heavy fucking favorite, and he was expected to finish that fight, and he couldn't finish the fight. I mean, give props to Roosevelt Roberts where it's due. You know, Roosevelt Roberts, the Ultimate Fighter winner, I believe. You know, he's got dog in him, but you know, Ludwig Klein was supposed to go out there and, you know, just dust him off real quick, and that didn't happen. So once I saw that, automatically, he called out Gamrot after that win too, I believe. And I was like, what the fuck, bro? You is not ready for Gamrot. So he got what he wanted. They gave him Mateusz Gamrot for his next fight. And honestly, I don't think he's ready for Gamrot. Let's put it that way. I think he bit off more than he can chew. I believe he probably should have had at least two more fights in the UFC, of 2 to 3 more fights in the UFC of like higher name opponents, and then you could have gave him Gamrot. But he got what he wanted, so he's fighting Gamrot, and I just think Gamrot's gonna be too much of a. Gamrot can mix it up. Gamrot's going to be the more fluent martial artist in the cage, and I can see him having success in the striking. Not as much as Ludwig Klein is going to have more like old moments where he hits Gamrot and it just seems more significant. But Gamrot's going to mix it up more, and I believe Gamrot's going to take him down and where he shines. I believe he's going to shine on Ludwig Klein once he get him to the ground and probably win a pretty fucking boring decision. I mean, the fight with Dan Hooker was pretty live, though. That was a good fucking fight. That was a scrap. So I'm not going to say boring decision. I say that he wins an exciting fight, but I could see Ludwig Klein at least winning a round. So the pick is going to be Mateusz Gamrot, but at the same time, you could play Ludwig Klein for what, minus 3.5. So that means he'll get one round on a judge's scorecard that say he wins, and that probably will hit on top of Mateusz Gamrot money line. On to the next fight. The next fight on the card, we got Erin Blanchfield taking on Maycee Barber. Erin Blanchfield 13-2 in her professional career. Maycee Barber 14-2 in her professional career. Maycee Barber on a 5-fight winning streak. Erin Blanchfield on a 1-fight winning streak following her loss to Manon Fiorot, which was a fight for the #1 contender spot. So we're not going to just sit here and be like, oh, yeah, you know, she's not on a big winning streak like Maycee Barber. And, yeah, so she's not going to be as good. Maycee Barber's actually on a 6-fight winning streak. I stand corrected. My bad. So for Erin Blanchfield, coming off that win over Rose Namajunas, where it was a good fight. Rose Namajunas, I believe, yeah, Rose Namajunas won round 1 and 2. But the separation of what separated the two was the fact that fucking Erin Blanchfield is a dog, man. I'm gonna give it to her right now. She is a fucking dog. She can take your best punches and keep marching forward, like, and she's gonna throw volume. She's gonna have significant fucking moments in her own right. She's gonna land big fucking shit in her own right, and she's gonna just out pressure you. That's what I noticed about Erin Blanchfield. 5-round fights, she's going to be the one that thrives the most, or I can see her thriving more than Maycee Barber thrives in a 5-round fight. Just her pressure alone is insane. I mean, if you watch that Rose Namajunas fight back, you'll see Rose Namajunas won round 1 and 2, and I'm not too proud to admit I had money on Rose Namajunas to win that fight against Macy Barber, and once Rose Namajunas won round 1 and 2, I kind of stopped paying attention to the fucking fight. I'm like, oh yeah, Rose got this in the bag. And then I'm starting to look up, and I'm starting to see Erin Blanchfield continuously pressuring her, having success. I'm like, man, what the fuck going on here? Then fucking Blanchfield wins round 3 after having a decent amount of ground control. I'm like, oh okay, it was a fluke, and ain't gonna happen again. And then she just won one round. Damn, this is like damn near a tongue twister. She won rounds 3, 4, and 5, and that's when I was like, damn, Rose Namajunas just blew my bread. It was what it was. It happened. Erin Blanchfield came back and just outdogged Rose Namajunas. Rose Namajunas is still one of my favorite fighters. She's gonna go down in history as one of the greatest fighters. Well, I ain't gonna say that. Yeah, you could say she was one of the greatest. I mean, she gave Zhang Weili her only 2 losses in the UFC. So yeah, she is one of the greatest fighters. So you gotta put respect on Thug Rose's name. But anyway, Erin Blanchfield beat her. That's an impressive win to me. Macy Barber coming off of a year layoff. 6-fight win streak, beat Amanda Hebos, beat Caitlin Seminara, beat Andrea Lee, beat Jessica I, beat Montana De La Rosa. I mean, we could just go and down the list of what her best wins are, and go down the list of Erin Blanchfield's best wins, and really like whoever has the most notable wins, it'll stick out to me, and I'll know where to go from here. So she beat fucking Macy Barber did beat Jillian Roberts way earlier in Jillian Roberts' career, though, before Jillian Roberts became a pressure heavy grappler and became who she is right now. So that's a good win for her. So the best win after that was against Amanda Hebos, and that win came in 2023. And the Jillian Roberts win, I mean, that win was how long ago? That win was 2019. So out of in the last 6, damn near 7 years, her best win was Amanda Hebos. Like, yes, she beat Caitlin Chukagian. She goes by Caitlin Sermonara now. I was never impressed with Caitlin Seminara to begin with, and her run in the UFC, if you would. I mean, she entered in, was on she was on like a fucking 8-fight win, maybe 6 or 7-fight win streak. Let me go look. 5, 6, 7, 8. She was on a 7-fight win streak when she came into the UFC, beat Lauren Murphy. It's all right, but we're not talking about Caitlin Seminara right now. Like I said, I wasn't impressed with the win that Macy Barber got over her. But you can chalk that up as to a higher tier caliber of an opponent. So she's got those 2 good wins right there. We'll just give it to her. Erin Blanchfield, let's see here. Miranda Maverick when she was 9-3. I mean, JJ Aldridge, that's decent. Jessica Andrade, when Jessica Andrade was, this was like 2 years ago, Andrade, and she ended up choking her out. So that's actually pretty fucking good. Talia Santos, really good PFL women's fighter at the moment. I believe she only had like 2 losses in the UFC. Yeah, Talia Santos is 22-4 right now. She's fucking. Talia Santos is good. Let's just put it that way. Talia Santos is good. So, yeah. And then she beat Rose Namajunas. Lost the unanimous decision to Manon Farrow. Unless Macy Barber makes like Manon Farrow in this fight, I don't see her beating Erin Blanchfield's wrestling. Erin Blanchfield is striking is not the best, but at the same time, she's got like a Dricus du Plessis type style of fighting. Like, she just makes shit work for her, and she makes it work for her in her advantage, and she keeps the pressure on opponents. So I'm siding with I'm siding with Aaron Blanchfield on this one. I do think that her pressure heavy style gets the job done, and she just wears on Macy Barber. And this is also Macy Barber's first 5 round fight in UFC, by the way. So that does go into consideration. So the pick is going to be Aaron Blanchfield. So on to the next section. I'm gonna give you guys my top 5 picks for this fight card to hopefully win you some money. Let's go. Go ahead and give me Jordan Levitt. I believe his pressure wrestling, his grappling is going to be that much more, obviously better than Kurt Holloway's. Kurt Holloway's going to have a slight advantage on the feet, but Jordan Levitt is not like a bum on the feet. He will know how to get the fight down to the ground. Kurt Holloway has terrible takedown defense. Give me Andreas Gustafsson. I believe he can find the finish over Trevin Giles and put Trevin Giles away. Give me Zach Reese. I believe he is better than Dusko Tudorovich, and he stands up. His stand up is better than Dusko Tudorovich, and Dusko Tudorovich is very hittable. Give me Billy Ray Goff. Billy Ray Goff really do got that dog in him. I know he can get the job done. He beat Trey Waters his last fight. I don't care what nobody says. And give me Aaron Blanchfield. I think the run that she's on right now is becoming more and more impressive, and she's got really good wrestling. So there's that. Well, I'm not gonna say really good wrestling, but when she gets the fight down to the ground, she has really good grappling control, and she's gonna leave you stuck on your back. And I don't know if Macy Barber is ready for that type of pressure. So yeah, that's it. That's the video, folks. UFC Vegas 107. There is no underdog section for this video this week. I'm just not too excited about this fight card whatsoever. It's a very murky ass fight card. I believe it's gonna be upset city. It's just gonna be, So my top 5 picks, I believe those are good picks. But all these other fights on here, iffy as hell, man. Iffy as hell. But I'll see you guys Saturday. UFC Vegas 107. Aaron Blanchfield versus Macy Barber back at the Apex. Let's go.